evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the New Brunswick International Speedway, where we're featuring MASCAR racing here tonight. Dave, your feelings and what do you think we're going to see here tonight?
I think we're going to see a lot of really good action here tonight. We've got some great drivers. Scott Fraser taking over for Rolly McDonald in car number 31. He put on a great showing in the 10- heat earlier on. Dave Porter, of course, coming in first place in his 95 Chevy Lumina.
That's right, Dave. And also, we'll run down a little briefly last week in Antigonish. The 100-lap feature was won by Scott Fraser in the 31 car, which is Rolly McDonald's car. Second place went to 77, Dave Gorveatt. Number 3 went to the 44 car, Wayne Smith. And the number 81 car was in fourth place, Bobby White. Number 5 was Dave Oblinas. And they had a real good showing. And also, we must add in the 10-car dash that they had here a little while ago, that Dave Potter did win that one. And we must mention also that Scott Fraser was in 11th place and climbed all the way up to 5th place by the time this was all said and done.
There was a lot of bumping and grinding in that race. I mean, we're coming from 11th place all the way up to first on a very short track like this. It's hard, and he put on a good showing, as well as did all the other drivers. As you can hear, there's a race going on behind us right now, and what they're doing is doing one of their heats right now. But coming from 11th place to first place on a track this short, it's just amazing how they can do it, and he pushed all the way.
That's right, Dave. This is a real short track. It's known as Canada's fastest short track, and we have it right here in New Brunswick, and it's one that a lot of drivers hate to drive on because there's so much bumping going on, and they have a hard time getting up any speed. You just get your speed up, you got to slow down for the turns. The turns are very fast. There's no straightaway on the back turns or the front turns at all.
And if you get into that dirt on the side, your car will get very, very loose, and there's almost no way to get it back at those speeds.
Also, we should mention in the points race that Scott Fraser is in first place with 270 points. Wayne Smith is in second place with 242. Dave Gorveatt is in third with 238. Bobby White's in fourth with 234. And rounding out the top 5 is Dave Oblinas with 228. That's a very tight race going on there. It could be anybody's race here tonight.
Very impressive run by Rick McCracken, the rookie, in 7th place. And he has 222 points.
Also, we should mention the St. John native Byron Bartlet running the number 7 car. He's having some problems tonight. They just got their motor together, and they found out they had the wrong size pistons to put in the car. They're running 300 horsepower instead of the normal 425, which is not very good. He said that's equal to pro stock.
No, he may be lagging behind tonight, but I think he will do pretty well. I mean, he's a hard driver. Even with the lower horsepower, I think he's going to probably come in, I'll predict, at least 5th.
Well, I don't know if he'll come up that high or not. He's only got 300 horsepower, but he's just showing mostly now for points. That's all he's doing. He didn't want to run. The crew said, let's run it. We'll get the points out of it. What the heck, at least we'll run the engine. We'll see what it can do with smaller pistons. Unfortunately, they didn't have the time to get more pistons into it.
Well, when something like that happens, the crew puts a lot of work into these cars, and whether they want to race or not, whether the driver wants to race or not, the crew can talk them into it because they put blood, sweat, and tears into these cars, and they want to see it out on the track no matter what's wrong.
Well, we have an excellent night here, the excellent weather here. It's been sunny all day, no rain. Conditions are great. The track is in great shape. They've had no major accidents in the heats here tonight. Oh, speak of which, we just had one right now. But we had a bit of spin out there, but there's been no serious accidents to speak of. So everything's really a go here tonight. A real good crowd on hand tonight, and it should be a real good showing. So now we're going to go to a clip, and we'll be right back.
That's Spitfire delivery from Coventry, sir. Sounds like air to ground, but it can't be.
Nobody could fly in this suit. Oh, no. He's right. It is a Spitfire.
Hanger.
We've got a delivery left.
Landing. You missed. Lads! Storm landing, sir. Not many chaps would even fly on a day like this.
Thanks, Corporal. Any chance of this breaking up? I got another one this afternoon.
No idea, sir. Ma'am.
179 ferry assignments. I suppose your dream is to break 200.
You know what my dream is? To go home when this is all over. Find a grass strip somewhere in Ontario. Teach flying.
The car is ready.
Gentlemen?
Marion Orr would achieve her dream and become the first woman in Canada to run a flying school.
Dave, we're going to see some real good racing here tonight. I'm just wondering, do you think Scott Fraser can pull off another one here tonight?
I think he can. I mean, he's put a lot of time into setting up the car today. We were down in the pits earlier today, and he was working very hard, him and his crew, and they're getting it set up for a really hard race tonight. I mean, there's 20 cars in the dash tonight, or in the main feature tonight, which we will be covering here on TVNB, and I think he will put on a really good showing.
He's obviously a good driver, because a lot of drivers can come up to him and say, "Well, take my car out, see how it feels, and see what adjustments we have to make on it." And as we were down in the pits doing some interviews, I mean, he was taking out the number 71 car. They're wanting him to take it out, see how it's running, see where it's handling, if it's loose in the corners or if it's too tight in the corners. They don't want it too tight, because then you're wearing on tires. If it's too loose, then you're still wearing on tires. So they really want to loosen things up. They want to just keep things in between somewhere. And what I mean by loosening up is in the steering and in the suspension. They can tighten it up, they can loosen it. They just make a finer adjustment. They're back out on the track again. So Scott Fraser obviously is a good driver for some of these older veterans to say, "Hey, kid, take my car out and let me know how it's running, and see what's going on here, and just let me know." And it's got to be quite a feeling for him when people do that. Also, we should mention we have a piece here coming up on Scott Kelly, who lost the battle to cancer, and it's unfortunate. All the drivers here tonight, as you might be able to get a glimpse of, they have in loving memory of Scott Fraser on their back fins, and every car has the number 12 marked on it. Unfortunately, Scott Kelly will really be missed here. He's watching all these racers right now, but it's unfortunate. He lost the battle to cancer, and that was really the only race he could not win.
Yeah, this division has really lost a great driver. I mean, he put on a great show in all the years he was racing, and he's sorely going to be missed by the drivers, the crew, and the officials.
That's right. So now we'll go to that piece by Scott Kelly right now.
Tell me a bit about the legend of who Scott Kelly was.
Well, Scott Kelly was actually, I guess, a third-generation racer. His granddad ran, and Junior Kelly, of course, had been a MASCAR champ himself, running car number 50 many years ago. And in fact, he ran with us up until a very few years ago when Scott kind of took over. Changed the car to number 12 because that's the number that he had used through his career. He had been an open-wheel champ at other speedways, and he had run, of course, street stock. And then he moved into a modified car, and then finally he ended up with a MASCAR a few years back. And he asserted himself pretty quickly on the speedway, but I think probably a lot of Scott's qualities that were appreciated by everybody were his gentle manner when he was dealing or interacting with people. He was really basically a very shy guy. Family guy, loved kids. Unfortunately, was not blessed to have any of his own because really he got sick before he ever had a chance to do that. But Scott left a legacy of a role model, which is pretty tough to duplicate these days. We look at a lot of public sports figures and that kind of. Sometimes you got to dig pretty deep before you find somebody that you really wanted your son to be like. And that wasn't the case with Scott. He was a great role model, a fierce competitor, and fair. And I think probably the biggest gift that he gave everybody was himself.
I think that's one of the attributes that you find, I think, particularly amongst race drivers as compared to other athletes, like you mentioned. Scott was a very quiet person. Some of the stars in other sports, basketball, baseball, whatever, they seem to be very outgoing, but what is it that brings the shyness together with the greatness in this type of sport?
Well, and not taking anything away from any other sports, because I'm a sports fan, and I know everybody that watches is probably a sports fan, and they're maybe like baseball, maybe like hockey, whatever. There are so many different things that you have to be good at in order to make it as a race driver. You don't have to be a great race driver, but you got to be able to figure out what is happening under the car. You got to be able to read the chassis, so you can go back and tell your crew chief, hey, the car's loose, the car's tight, needs this, needs that, whatever. And I think that kind of draws a different type of person to begin with, someone that can focus on several different facets at the same time, but still remain overall well-focused in their life. And that really is the kind of person that is drawn to motorsports.
Well, that's great. Thanks a lot, Ken. One final moment now to think about Scott Kelly.
And I'd just like to thank Ken Packham for that nice story on Scott Kelly, the number 12 car. Scott, as we said, lost the battle to cancer. That's one race he couldn't finish, and unfortunately, but he's watching us here, and we know he's watching, I should say, and everybody, their hearts go out to the family of Scott Kelly, and also they are thinking about Scott Kelly.
Scott's surely going to be missed in this field. I mean, the drivers obviously paying high tribute to Scott today with his number on all of their cars, and all the crews, the officials, everyone. He's really going to be missed.
That's for sure. And we're going to get ready for racing here at the New Brunswick International Speedway for the feature race of the MASCAR 100, and we're going to get ready for racing right after this. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick, where we are featuring MASCAR, which we are now featuring heat number 2. And the cars are now lining up. Art Steve has given them the go-ahead now for the green flag. The pace car is in the center of the track, and here they come. And we're racing. Green flag is out. And into turn number 1, number 77 takes the lead, and car 50 takes the lead down the straightaway. Number 50 there, 50 and 77 are neck and neck coming down into turn number 4 as they cross the finish line. It's number 50.
Mike Riley driving a 98 Pontiac Firebird.
From Timberlane, Nova Scotia, he takes heat number 1. Sorry, folks, I thought that was heat number 2, but I guess they were had a little accident into turn number 3 where they had to restart that lap and finish it off. The number 50 car, Mike Riley, taking the checkered flag in heat number 1.
And again, Mike drives a 98 Pontiac Firebird. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Finishing in second was number 77, Dave Gorveatt from Charlottetown, PEI. Coming a long way for this race here tonight. Now with the Confederation Bridge, they don't have that much of a time wait anymore. So
that's right.
Thankfully for those guys, they can come here in a day and go back in a day. So
it's not an overnighter anymore.
No, not necessarily, no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at New Brunswick International Speedway at Geary, which is a tremendous night here for racing. A great crowd on hand here tonight. I would say a full capacity here tonight.
Stands are just about full.
A lot of people here tonight in shorts and T-shirts, which is really nice. You don't have to battle with the cold, and there's a little bit of a breeze blowing out there. Not very much. There was a little bit of a breeze earlier and a lot of dark clouds, but we got some racing going on here tonight. We had the pro stocks going earlier in their heats, and we had the street stocks going in their heats, so there's been lots of racing going on here tonight, Dave.
That's right, and speaking of the heat earlier on, it is still quite warm right now. I'd say it's in, at least the low 20s, and that's going to be hard on the drivers.
Well, that's not only hard on drivers, it's hard on the engines, too. They can keep those engines cool because they are doing a lot of rev. The RPMs are way up high on those cars. They're going in and out of those turns. Can't really get a whole lot of speed up. They're staying probably around third gear, fourth gear, somewhere, or second or third gear, somewhere in that area, and those are really high gears on that. And we should mention also, we mentioned at the top of our show, the number 7 car, Byron Bartlet, he's running on a really small engine for as far as MASCAR is concerned. He's running on a 300 horsepower car, and like I said at the top of the show, his pit crew accidentally got either the wrong pistons or they were given the wrong pistons for that car. And instead of running the norm 425 horsepower, he's running pretty well close to what a pro stock car would run, or even a street stock car.
But again, I think he's going to put on a good show tonight. I mean, all these MASCAR drivers, they do great no matter what they end up getting. I mean, you order the wrong parts, you work with what you have.
Well, that's definitely what you have to do. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready for heat number 2. And while we're waiting for heat number 2, we're going to take a break, and we'll come right back to the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick.
Live on TVNB.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick, where we are featuring the MASCAR 100 here. We have 19 cars in the field tonight. And Dave, I think we're going to have a real good night here for racing. The sky is nice and clear. It's cooled down a little bit, but we got some good weather for racing here. It should be nice and cool for the cars, nice and cool for the drivers. The fans have to put a little sweater on here tonight, but everything's looking fine.
Actually, I was just going to mention that look out the window and I see some fans putting their sweaters on now, but it's still nice out, and I don't think it's going to really affect the track that much. It may they may have to warm the tires up a little bit when they first start off. Now, one thing I want to mention, I heard a few people in the stands when I was coming up in here tonight saying that I don't know why the cars are so aerodynamically designed and everything, because, you know, it doesn't need to be on such a short track. Well, I beg to differ, because the aerodynamics play a big part, especially in a long race like this.
Well, it plays a big part on the fact of the tight and the looseness in the car. They put the fins on the back. That bears down on the back end of the car. They get a little more friction in the back wheels there. And, you know, I'm by no means a pro of knowledge in these stock car racing, but I do watch a lot of it on NASCAR, and you kind of learn bits and pieces of it there. So it is an interesting sport to watch. There's a lot of people here tonight. They guesstimate around 4,000 here tonight, which is a very large crowd. Really out here showing their support. Earlier tonight we had the pro stocks and the street stock and the sportsman stock features, which were quite entertaining to watch. There was a few crash and bangs there, and one fellow got black flagged and escorted off the property. So you don't mess around with Big Steve Pettipa, I guess, up here at the New Brunswick International Speedway.
No, it wouldn't be a good idea. He may do a body slam on you or something. One thing I do want to...
For some of you people who are wondering, Big Steve Pettipa was the big wrestler in Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling.
Yeah, this is true.
So he is up here. He's a flagman up here at the New Brunswick International Speedway.
One thing I do want to mention is Hoosier is back again this year. They made the tires. Great spec tires for MASCAR racing. Especially design ones for short track. We've got 9 New Brunswickers in the field lineup tonight. Out of 19 cars, one of them starting, our first New Brunswicker starting in 7th place is Glenn Ramsden. And also Brad Mann. Those two are starting at 7 and 8. In 10th spot is Shawn Tucker out of Fredericton. Matt Harris, Dave Gorveatt, Byron Bartlet, Chris Duncan, Kevin Moore, and rounding off the field will be Rick McCracken. And they are all our New Brunswickers tonight as well. Like I said, we have 19 cars in the field tonight. Mike Riley took the pole position, and trying to catch where Mike Riley is from. Mike Riley is from Timberla, Nova Scotia.
Well, Dave, we should give a special thank you to CarQuest here tonight, who are a major sponsor of the MASCAR Tour this year. Also, Hoosier Tires are another big sponsor of the MASCAR Tour this year. And as you can see, we are now the cars have been lined up and ready for their introduction. So we're going to run down the introduction here of the cars. And sitting on the pole position is number 50, Mike Riley. And on the outside will be number 99, Greg Sewart.
Greg Stewart's out of Halifax, Nova Scotia.
And starting third is number 81, Bobby White.
And Bobby White is from Kentucook, Nova Scotia.
And beside him would be number 77, Dave Gorveatt.
Charlotte, Prince Edward Island. Actually, they got IPE, but it's
Charlottetown, that's where that is.
Prince Edward Island.
And starting in 5th place will be number 44, Wayne Smith.
Also from Timberland, Nova Scotia.
And starting number 6 will be number 31, Scott Fraser.
And he's from Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia.
And just for some of you fans who follow MASCAR, he is driving Rolly McDonald's car, which is the 31 car. And starting in 7th place is number 8,
Graham
Musen.
Graham Musen from St. John, our hometown.
Number 35 is in 8th place, which is Brad Mann, from Campbellton, New Brunswick. Nice to see some representation from New Brunswick here, way up there in the North Shore. It's really a long ways for him to travel. It's about a 5-hour drive for him to get down here. So I would like to see that fellow down here, which is really good. And starting in 9th place is number 17, Dave Potter.
From Cambridge, Nova Scotia. It's good to see some Nova Scotians up, too.
And beside him will be the rookie from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Shawn Tucker, which is nice to see some of these rookies in here because they are really trying hard here to make a name for themselves, get some sponsors. That's the big thing with some of these rookies is sponsorships, and we'll briefly talk about that in a little bit. Starting in 10th position is number 97, John Fleming.
From Halifax, Nova Scotia. Long drive for John as well.
Which our next broadcast will be from his home track down near Halifax, Nova Scotia.
That's right.
Starting beside him will be number 48, Dave Gorveatt.
And he's from Boundary Creek, New Brunswick.
And next position will be the 12th position, which will be number 87, Matt Harris, who also is a rookie.
And he's from Fredericton Junction, New Brunswick, just down the street.
Just down the road from here, so he's a hometown hometown boy for sure. Starting beside him will be number 15, Scott Alexander, another rookie.
And also from Nova Scotia and Dartmouth.
Okay, starting in number 21 car will be.
They have it crossed out here, so we're not really sure. We'll have to get back on that one.
We're going to have to say David Pierce. That's what we have here on our record. So anyway, starting beside him will be number 7, Byron Bartlet.
Another St. John native.
Out of St. John, New Brunswick. Another somewhat local boy who we did say is running a rather small engine here tonight. So it's nice to see that he is starting a little higher up in the pack. But, you know, for sure he's going to be down. He's going to be down low in the pack definitely by the time this race is over.
Right.
Starting in 17th position will be number 79, Chris Duncan.
Also from St. John, New Brunswick. This is his, he's a second-generation driver.
Yes, he is. And starting beside him will be number 88, Kevin Moore.
And Kevin's from Fredericton Junction as well?
No, we don't quite have the information on him where he's from. And starting in 19th position, and the only reason why he's starting 19th is because he was black flagged in the heat. So he has to start in 19th position at the back of the pack, and that's number 71, a rookie, Rick McCracken from Fredericton, New Brunswick. And obviously it might have been a rookie mistake, but he did do some bumping, caused a big spin out in turn number 3, and unfortunately he got black flagged by the MASCAR official, and unfortunately he has to start in 19th position.
And it was fairly close to the end of the race when that black flag did occur, so these guys were racing pretty hard. I mean, the first part of the race, yeah, it was only a 10-lapper, but for the first part they get the feel for the track and you know, get the feel for their car, the way it's set up, and then toward the last 5 or 6 laps, 4 laps, somewhere around there, they really pour it in, and that's about where the accident happened. And again, like you said, it could have been just a rookie mistake.
We should mention also the pole sitter tonight is Mike Riley, the car, number 50 car. He finished last weekend in Antigonish in 8th position, so for him to start on the pole this week is quite an accomplishment for him, because during the heats he didn't really finish all that great in the heats. He finished 7th in the first heat, so it's last week in Antigonish, so I don't know. I think that's a pretty good showing for him, but overall he is in 9th position in the points with 210. So he's obviously a contender here and quite respectable by all the other drivers.
That's right. And again, it shows some flexibility too. I mean, the positions he has placed, like you said, going in 9th place,
8th place,
and in the heat, a little lower or a little higher, and
he was a little higher in the heat, but he finished lower. But what matters in the end is the points, and where you finish at the finish line at the end of the race. The heats really don't matter a whole lot for them, but it's for positioning off the start, and hopefully if you can finish high in the heat, you can finish high in the race, because especially on the Canada's fastest short track here at New Brunswick International Speedway, if you start high in the pole, you're definitely going to finish high in the race, unless there's an accident, of course.
Now, what about Scott Fraser?
Scott Fraser, well, why he's not in NASCAR, it could be just sponsorship, I don't know, but unfortunately, that fella, I think, personally, should be in the NASCAR circuit right now. I really do think he could be a good contender there. If not NASCAR, why not Busch Series? I think he'd do real good in the Busch Series. I mean, a lot of guys start out in the Busch Series, and, you know, maybe he has to go to CASCAR here first, maybe, you know, but like I say, sponsorship is a big part of this. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of travel, and if you don't get the sponsors, as you can see on a lot of these cars, I mean, there's a lot of decals on these cars, and each one of those represents a sponsor. No matter how big or how small, they're still a sponsor, and these drivers really appreciate them.
That's right. And as far as Scott Fraser goes, I mean, how many drivers do you know that have other drivers to come up to them and ask them, like we said at the beginning of the program, and ask them to take their car out on the track and drive it around? How does it feel? You know, what do you think? Should it be towed in? Should it be cambered? What?
Well, that was the rookie car, Rick McCracken, that he did take out for a test drive, and you know, and it's pretty good that, you know, you get a rookie looking up to you and saying, well, you know, even though I'm competing against you, I'm a rookie here, help me out a little bit and give me some pointers. Even though Scott Fraser is quite young for a driver in this MASCAR Tour, I believe 30s, early 30s, somewhere in that area, or just a little less than 30, and you know, he's really, you know, he's really a dominant force here in the MASCAR Tour. So.
That's right. And I mean, even his showing last year, coming in first place in points, this goes to show that he is a strong contender this year, and he's going to be someone to watch out for, most definitely. I mean, last week he dominated the 100 laps, and you know, Dave Gorveatt was second, Wayne Smith was third, and the top 10 list was completed by Bobby White, Dave Oblinas, Greg Sewart, Shawn Tucker, Mike Riley, Rick McCracken, and Dave Potter.
And I was very close in his age. He's 29 years of age, so that's quite young for a MASCAR driver to gain that much experience, gain that much respect and popularity among all other drivers in this area. And also, he has been talking to people apparently in NASCAR. The introductions had been done by Art Steves, the flagman here tonight. So we're eventually going to get the gentlemen start your engines.
Right now, they're just showing some new sponsors. Polaris has pulled on as a sponsor this year for MASCAR, and they're just showing off what Polaris has to offer for the MASCAR season this year. And by the looks of that, it's a brand new 4x4 ATV.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice little machine to have, and it looks pretty good out there doing some donuts out in the center of the track. And
that'd be nice to take on a fishing trip or two.
Well, I think that one there is a little too much for a fishing trip. You'd like to have one with maybe a 4x4 with a winch on it or something like that. But that is definitely a nice little machine for racing around. And
again,
here we are.
And they have started the engines.
They've started the engines, ladies and gentlemen. And then momentarily, we are going to be set for racing here at the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick. And we're going to take it to a break, and right after the break, we're going to start some racing, ladies and gentlemen, here at the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the New Brunswick International Speedway, where we are featuring the MASCAR 100 here, in part sponsored by the CarQuest Auto Parts, under a full moon here tonight, Dave, and it's an excellent night for racing. Their cars are coming down into turn number 4. We're getting ready for racing, and we got the green flag.
Art Steves gives them the green flag.
Number 99 takes the lead into turn number 1 ahead of number 50, which is Greg Sewart. He takes the lead still down in the back stretch. Number 50 is in second place. Followed right behind him is number 31 in third place, number 77 in fourth place. Here they come down after one lap. It's number 99.
Greg Sewart.
Taking the lead into turn 1. Got a great bunch of cars here now.
Big race for second between 50 and 77.
And number 77 pulls ahead on the outside of number 50 coming down. And after 2 laps, we have number 99 Greg Sewart and number 77
Dave Gorveatt.
Dave Gorveatt. Coming down into turn number 4, we have still Greg Sewart leading.
And look who's in third place. Scott Fraser.
Scott Fraser started, by the way, in 6th place. Right up there into third place. Folks, keep your eyes on him if you're going to watch anybody here tonight. You're going to see some fantastic racing by him. Number 99 better be looking in his rearview mirror, because he's going to have quite a battle with Scott Fraser here tonight.
And he's right up on the bumper at 99 from starting way back where he was. That is amazing, getting up there that quick.
Well, he's getting up there quick. He's going to take the he's going to take the 77 car and McCracken on the outside. No, he doesn't. He's going down the straight stretch now. He's going to take his lead. He's looking.
Going into turn 2.
McCracken's not letting him in.
Cutting him off.
Here he is now going. We have a little bit of a crash here, folks, down in turn number 3. Sorry, turn number 4. Yellow flag does come out. And we'll have to get these cars all lined up after here. As soon as we get Dave here to see what car that is down there.
I cannot tell. Looks like car number 50.
Yes, that is car number 50, right? Mike Riley's car, the rookie, I believe. No, he isn't. Sorry, from Timberlake, Nova Scotia.
Mike just got a little loose going into turn number 3.
And the pace car comes out now. That Art Steves has the job of lining these cars back up again, and we'll get this race restarted.
Which on a short track like this cannot be an easy job.
Well, by the way, folks, just to run down a brief rule that I know about MASCAR racing is that all laps under caution do count. Unlike the Sportsman and the Pro Stock and the Street Stocks, they do not count on those races, but under MASCAR, they do count.
So all these laps that they're running right now to try to set up the cars back in the proper position are going to count against their racing time.
So the number 50 car doesn't look any worse for wear, obviously. He just got into the bank there a little bit. He looks like he's all right. Waving to the fans there.
I think Mike Riley's just trying to get his position back right now. He's waving everybody ahead so he can pull in at the very end.
I do believe Greg Sewart is thanking his lucky stars on this one here, because he knows that Scott Fraser is on his way behind, and we're getting ready for racing again here. As Art Steves is getting these guys revved up, getting them all bunched up together here so we can get this lap restarted.
Still got one more pace lap to go. The lights haven't gone out in the pace car yet.
Pace car is going down into turn number 3 here. We're going to get them going here, racing here in a minute. Art Steves, if anybody's ever seen him with the MASCAR Tour, he is quite colorful in his flag. In his flagmanship, I guess is the only way to call it. So
right.
He is quite colorful. The fans like watching him. He gets a little dance going on there.
Oh,
He looks,
number
looks pretty
48.
good.
Number 48 smoking pretty bad. He may end up getting black flag. That's Dave Oblinus.
Yes, because as we did see earlier tonight, a car in the street stock did get told to go to the pits. That's the black flag with the red center in it.
Yeah,
he went
by
into
the
the
looks.
pits. He come back out, and Big Steve Pettipaw went down and said, I told you to go in and get the problem fixed. You didn't get it fixed. You're out of here.
And there goes Dave now. He's going into the pits to try to... Looks like he just may have blown an oil line or something. May have a little bit of oil spilled on his manifold and have to get it cleaned up.
Not sure. He might have been involved in that accident with car number 50, so it's hard to say. They're trying to get it cleaned up down in turn number 3, in between turn 3 and 4.
Get the speedy dry out. Attempt to clean that up.
I must say that the track crew here has been doing a phenomenal job here tonight under the lights. We have a great crowd here on hand here tonight, about 4,000 strong, I believe they've estimated it at. So it's they're seeing some great action here.
So as it stands right now, first, second, and third, Geary Stewart from Halifax, Nova Scotia in car number 99 is in first place. In second place is Dave Gorveatt from Charlottetown, PEI. And in third place, a man to watch for tonight, number 31, Scott Fraser, driving Rolly McDonald's 98 Dodge Avenger. And Scott's doing very well, bringing up the third place from the position he was in, which was 6th place, all the way to third in 4 laps is all it took for him to get up there.
Well, Scott Fraser is an excellent driver out there, so he is the guy we're going to have to watch here tonight. He may take another checkered flag home here tonight after he took one in Antigonish last weekend, and he's just a phenomenal driver. And finishing in second place behind him was Dave Gorveatt, and obviously he's a great driver too, because to finish that close behind Scott Fraser, you got to be a pretty good driver.
That's right.
We're still under caution here, folks, as the track crew gets things cleaned up down in turn 4. Obviously a little bit of oil or possibly engine coolant there spilled out onto the track, and it gets very slippery for the drivers if they're coming around that turn, because in turn 4 is where they start to accelerate to come down the straightaway across the start-finish line, and you get spinning your tires there, you can easily wipe out into the fence, and the fans will get a real good close-up of a crash, obviously coming to turn 4 going down to the start-finish line.
And it almost looks like turn 4 is cut a little bit steeper than the rest of the turns here at the New Brunswick International Speedway. It almost looks like it's such a tight turn that they really got to get on the brakes coming into turn 3 to make that loop around turn 3 and turn 4.
Well, there is an extra lane coming out of turn 4, which does come out of pit row area, so that the cars, when they come out of pit area, can ease their way back into it, similar to the NASCAR Tour, where you got that extra lane to going in and off the racetrack. So it gets a little wider there. Could be just a tad bit steeper. The degree could be a little higher than the other turns, but it's definitely going to cause some problems here tonight by the looks of things.
That's right. Now they got the cars driving over the speedy dry. I think they're doing that maybe.
To help
it
help
could
dry
very
it out.
well possibly to help dry it out.
Yeah, that stuff helps dry it out, and I guess we got one more lap to go. The pace car should be soon coming in, and we're going to get back to racing here shortly. The pit crew, or the track crew, is doing an excellent job here getting things cleaned up. We'll get back to racing here shortly, folks.
Art Steves is still trying to get them all lined up and ready to go. He's nodding right now as if to say, are we ready to go? And pace car is probably asking him, no, let's get this off and get some racing.
Just want to see here, they want to see some good hard racing. These are very fast cars. It's a little faster than what they normally get to see up here. And another thing is the MASCAR Tour starts also, or it has started, and they're going to be showing up here at the Brunswick International Speedway.
September 11th, I believe.
September 11th, I believe you may be right there, Dave. September 11th and 12th, they're going to feature a 200 lap, which is a long race. I had the opportunity of seeing one a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you, you want to see some fast cars, you want to see almost identical to NASCAR, that's about the best you're going to see right there. That is the finest of racing I think I've ever seen.
And MASCAR rules are fairly close to the big guys, to the MASCAR and the CASCAR. They got to keep their cars looking good They've got to keep the specs exactly. I mean, before these guys come out in the track before a race, each one of them are inspected. They're weighed.
Well, they're weighed. Each tire is actually weighed, not the whole body at once or the whole car at once. It's each side is weighed to make sure they got the right amount of weight in one side or the other. And it's to the driver's advantage because they don't want to get too little weight on the outside, because then you're going to be swinging on the way out on the outside. You don't want to get too much on the inside, then you get too tight on the inside on the turns, and it's really a complicated thing. And the average day person just hops in their car and goes for a drive. They don't notice these things. But these fellows, when they're going 100 kilometers, maybe up to close, sometimes 100 miles an hour, they want to make sure everything's nice and tight and firm in there. They don't want it too tight, don't want it too loose.
That's right. Now the lights just went out in the pace car, so it'll be coming around, moving off the track, and next time around they will be racing.
Pace car has gone into the center area. Art Steves has the green flag in his hand. He's perched up nice and high on that stand, as you can see in the bottom of your screen there.
Now Greg Sewart will bring them
getting
down.
Them ready. Here they come. They're coming around turn number 4. Here we get back to racing. Number 99 is taking the lead. Scott Fraser.
Oh, we got a bad crash. Number 8 has turned.
We got a bad crash right in front of us here in
Glenn
pit row.
Rasmussen, and I cannot tell who the other car is.
It's the number 50 car who just had an accident a little while ago, Mike Riley. So we have another crash here. Doesn't look to be any debris on the track. We have a replay of that, ladies and gentlemen, coming up here very shortly. Here it comes. They were coming down, getting ready to start the race.
Greg Sewart just went
and
across.
We just see it to the left of your screen. He gets spun out, and then we get a little bit of a crash there. Here's where number 50 bangs into him.
I can't really tell. From that angle, I couldn't really tell who may have caused it. It could have been that he just got a little loose.
Might have been a little bit of contact there too. They're trying to jockey for position and stuff there, so it's really hard to say.
Now Glenn Rasmussen has just left the track. He's going to go down, maybe get a little bit of body work done. And
well, he has a piece turned underneath the driver's, right at the front quarter panel of the door, right behind the driver's front wheel. So you may want to get that bent out of there, because that can chew on a tire real bad, and you don't want chew tires on a short track, because you're wearing rubber quick enough as it is going around the turns.
That's right. Now in a case like that, when he leaves the track where they are still, there is some debris. They're getting
looks
the
like a little bit of
oil
oil
right now.
Looks like a little bit of oil on the track there possibly, and they're putting some of that speed dry on there and trying to get that dried up. That stuff, ladies and gentlemen, is very similar to what cat litter is, actually, to believe it or not. It just dries the stuff up real quick. It's like a clay-like substance. Dries up the stuff very quickly. They use it in garages and things like that. So it's a real good thing to use. And they'll get the drivers going over the top of it, and then they can.
Here's our replay again. And
there was a little bit of contact there with 91 because he goes into the center area. So they were jockeying for position there, and they were trying to get ahead in the race here, because you want to get ahead here and stay ahead. That's definitely the name of the game here on a short track. So the track crew is getting things cleaned up there, and it looks like we're soon going to be ready for racing here. Pace car is taking them around again. Lights are still on the pace car.
I think this time around might be it. Art's talking to his spotters up on the roof right now. And that's another thing about MASCAR and this track in particular, and all the tracks around Atlantic Canada. The officials do a fantastic job officiating these races.
Pace cars slow down a little bit to get the cars to follow up behind them a little bit tighter. They want them all bunched up, which makes it a more fairer start, and that way you don't get them straggling all over the place.
That's right.
Drivers are zigzagging, folks, in case you're wondering. That's to try and keep the tires warm, because you don't want to try and start off on cold tires, because they end up 9 times out of 10 spitting out. You don't get the grip onto the track, because when a rubber tire is warm and it's on a warmer track, it really gets some good grip.
That's right. It gets really sticky. Lights are out in the pace car.
Number 50 car just comes back out after a quick check in the pit area, and he is back. He will most likely have to start in last position. Number 48 is now back on the track minus his hood. He does not have his hood on. Obviously, he had a little bit of damage there on his hood.
But they can run without a hood.
And we're back to racing, ladies and gentlemen. Number 99 takes the lead into turn number 1 with Scott Fraser right on his bumper in second position. Scott Fraser is down, is still in second. He is going to challenge for the lead with number 99, Greg Sewart.
And Wayne Smith, number 44, is in third place.
Scott Fraser is definitely going to be trying to challenge him here for the lead.
Scott's doing a fantastic job tonight. I mean, coming from 6th place, he's now in second, and he is making a definite challenge for first.
We are now on lap number 8. Number 77 car looked very loose going into turn number 1 there, folks. But he's really making up some ground here now. Down we come into lap number 9. Greg Sewart is still leading Scott Fraser. Scott Fraser could be just doing a tailwind.
Number 8 just made it back out the track.
Scott Fraser could be trying to tail him and get a little bit of tailwind and just trying to suck himself in behind him and then making his move. You get a good tailwind on the lead car, and the car in front of you, he can drag you right along. Here we got a crash right in front of us, a spin out. Number 79 and 17 spin out here. We got a yellow caution again, ladies and gentlemen. This will slow things down one more time.
Chris Duncan in car number 79 and Dave Potter from Cambridge, Nova Scotia in car number 17. I think they made just a touch in the back panel.
Number 17 has a flat tire, I believe, on the back of his car. He's going into the pit area to get a change real quick. And luckily for him, there's a caution out on the track, and he'll get that tire changed quite quickly and back out.
And he's going in the outdoor, but that's all right.
Well, hey, you get into the pit as quick as you can, any way you can. Ladies and gentlemen, I like to correct myself on the cautions. They do not count the caution laps. I'm sorry, I made a mistake on that one, and I like to correct myself. Here's a great shot, folks, of the cars getting lined up behind the pace car. I'd like to say just a thank you to the camera crew here. They're doing a terrific job, getting some great angle shot here, folks, right into your living room. If you're not here, it's the next best thing. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it's just an action-packed night here so far. We see some great racing in the street stock, sportsman class. It's just been a real good night here. The fans have been really entertained here. And folks, if you haven't been out to a race car, out to a track and seen some actual stock car racing, and you like race cars and you watch the NASCAR, it's an excellent opportunity to come out and see some real good racing out here.
And you and Marv Dyer did some severe damage out there in that old dirt speedway, David.
Yeah, we're running Chrysler there, Ken, and I guess that's where we're getting beat by now. So I don't know if we got to switch brands or what here.
Listen, you've had a pretty good run of it. You've been a MASCAR Tour champion once so far, and you're always in there. You're one of those guys you can always count on a good, strong performance. Car works well. You can't do that without help from some sponsors. We should say hi to them while we got a minute to do that.
Yeah, we got some good support, Ken. We got XR4 there. They're our main sponsor. We got Johnson's Homestyle, and we got Pro Train Driving, and Gillis Signs, and Ideal Muffler, and they've all been a good help, and I got a wonderful crew, Ken.
Well, you have got a good crew too, and you know, really, that's probably one of the most important things, because what makes the CarQuest Auto Parts MASCAR Tour the successful professional show that it is that consistency factor, and I think probably all of you strive for that, don't you?
Oh, for sure, Ken. You got to have a strong crew and a lot of determination, and my boys are good, and I try hard for them.
Well, grit, determination, and that motivation to get there first is what keeps everybody running, and it certainly works for Dave. We're going to have fun watching you right through 99, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Bet.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Dave Gorveatt racing here tonight. He is really a respectable driver out here, driving the number 77 car. Kind of shy on words, but hey, nonetheless, we got green flag racing coming up right here now. And here we have Scott Fraser on the outside.
Scott Fraser took first place.
Stewart on the outside. Scott Fraser has now taken the lead. Greg Sewart is not going to give it up without a fight. And they go down into turn number 3.
And
Scott Smith.
Oh, he went out to the outside.
Scott Fraser took it a little high there in turn number 3, turn number 4. But he did manage to hang on. Greg Sewart is right on his tail going down the backstretch. Scott Fraser is definitely going to open up a bit of a lead here. Oh, he took it high there.
He's sliding going into that turn.
He is very loose on turn number 4. Greg Sewart just like it underneath of him in the next time around, because Greg Sewart is definitely watching him and seeing what's going on there. Scott Fraser is very loose. Very loose going into turn number 4 there. We've got some great racing going on here, folks, between Scott Fraser and number 99, Greg Sewart. They go down the straightaway, backstretch.
Too wide.
Too wide, neck and neck. Here we come into turn number 4, too wide.
Greg Sewart got it.
99 car takes the lead from Scott Fraser. Boys, we got some great racing here going on, folks. Bringing up the tail here now, we have number 7, which we did talk about earlier, is Byron Bartlet, and he's given a good race with number 71, Rick McCracken, the rookie from Fredericton, New Brunswick. And after 16 laps, we have the number 99 car still leading Scott Fraser, which is Greg Sewart, the 99 car. And right behind Scott Fraser is number 44, Wayne Smith from Timberley, Nova Scotia.
Big battle for 8th and 9th, too, between car number 15, and that would be Scott Alexander, and car number 87, which is Matt Harris, the rookie.
We got a great, we got some bumping going on in turn number 1 between car number 15 and car number 87. car 15 was holding up a lot of the field there, but they're starting to get by him now. As we pick it up now, Greg Sewart is still in the lead. And Scott Fraser, I think, knows his car is quite loose and just can't make a bid to get into first place here and take the lead away from Greg Sewart. Greg Sewart opening up a little bit of a lead, about 2 car lengths going down the backstretch. As they come into turn number 4, Greg Sewart is now leading on the 20th lap, ladies and gentlemen, the 100 lap feature here at the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick. Greg Sewart is going to soon start getting into the slower traffic here and start lapping some other cars. And I think the first one he's going to be lapping will be Byron Bartlet.
And we've got a real battle going on right now between number 15, Scott Alexander, and I cannot quite tell who that other one is. Believe it's number 7, which is Byron Bartlet, right here from St. John, New Brunswick.
Yeah, the lead cars are just starting to lap the tail end cars. Scott Fraser, Greg Sewart goes high, Scott Fraser goes low. 15 is not going to let Scott Fraser go by.
I thought they were going to go 3 wide into that corner.
Oh, we almost got 3 wide into that corner is right, Dave.
And I don't know if the camera's getting a good angle on it or not, but when they come around the corner and they slam on the brakes, you can see the brake rotor turning cherry red.
Art Steve just gave the number 7 car a blue and yellow flag, which means there's faster cars coming behind you. Let them go by. You're holding them up from racing. And he didn't, sorry, it was number 15 car. He held up Scott Fraser from passing Greg Sewart on the inside on turn number 4. So that's what the blue and yellow flag means, is that there's slower traffic coming behind you. And let these guys go through because they're doing some fantastic racing here, ladies and gentlemen, at the New Brunswick International Speedway. Greg Sewart is starting to open up a bit of a lead here on Scott Fraser.
And we got a slow car on the track right now, car number 7, bringing up the rear.
That's Byron Bartlet, ladies and gentlemen, St. John native here, trying his best just to stay in the race. Not really be competitive, but he just wants to stay in it. Maybe get back up a few points here and there just for showing up, which is not a bad idea. After 27 laps, ladies and gentlemen, we got Greg Sewart leading about 5 car lengths right now on Scott Fraser.
And Wayne Smith from Timberland, Nova Scotia is in 3rd place in car number 44. Oh, someone just lost a hood.
We got some debris here on the track.
No, it went into the infield.
Went into the infield, which is
car number 8. Car number 8 just lost his hood. Glenn Ramson from Dartmouth, or New Denmark, New Brunswick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's debris flying everywhere. Even people in the center track or center of the track are not safe out there. So anyway, back to racing. Greg Sewart is still in the lead. Scott Fraser is in 2nd with number 44, Wayne Smith from Timberland, Nova Scotia, rounding out the top 3. But he's getting quite a challenge from number 87, the rookie, Matt Harris, the local kid from Fredericton Junction, which is showing up really well. Sorry, that's number 97, John Fleming from Halifax, Nova Scotia. His numbers were really hard to see here under the lights. It looked like an 87 to me.
And the person we had the interview with there not too long ago was Dave Gorveatt. He's bringing up 5th spot.
Just got another blue and yellow flag on the 31 car. He's not letting number 50 go by. If he doesn't...
Oh, and we've got a spin out in turn number 3.
Oh, we got a
15.
major spin out here. Not involving the lead drivers, unfortunately.
It started with Scott Alexander, car number 15, and Byron Bartlet of St. John, New Brunswick, and car number 7. And car number 50 and 87 got collected in it. That's Mike Riley. And in car number 87, that's Matt Harris, the rookie from Fredericton Junction, a local boy here. And they got tangled up in that wreck in turn number 3 and 4.
Track crew is going to go down and take a look there in turn number 3, the start of turn number 4, see if there's anything on the track. If there's no debris, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back to racing here quite quickly.
It doesn't look like there's much damage to the cars.
No, see one of the track crew out there now, and he's on the little 4-wheeler. He gets around pretty quick out there with the flag on the back of it, and he.
And here we go in a replay.
We have a replay on that little bit of a spin out here. Oh, we just got the tail end of that. Looks like it was the number 15 car that might have spun out, and then 15, 87 got entangled in there, but it didn't affect the lead racers, lead drivers, sorry. And they still have, after 32 laps, ladies and gentlemen, we're about a third of the way through here. We have the lead driver right now, number 99, Greg Sewart. In 2nd place is number 31, Scott Fraser, driving the Rolly McDonald car. And in 3rd place, we have number 44, Wayne Smith from Timberland, Nova Scotia. And rounding out, number 97, John Fleming from Halifax, Nova Scotia. And rounding out the top 5 will be number 35 car, Brad Mann, from way up north near my hometown, Campbellton, New Brunswick. I'm from the Miramichi. Unfortunately, we used to have a Miramichi driver here in the MASCAR Tour, and his last name was Williston, and I guess he just must have retired from everything and just said, well, I'll sit back and watch some of this stuff. But unfortunately, we did have some representation from the Miramichi.
And on the screen just a few minutes ago, you've seen Matt Harris's car, the rookie from local boy from Fredericton Junction, New Brunswick. A little bit of a melee right now between number 7, which is Byron Barrett from St. John, and car number 21, Dave Pierce. I don't think they're quite sure where they're supposed to be on the track. And
well, I think Bartlett knows he's in last place. He knows right where he's supposed to be, and it's just a jockeying for position. That's the only thing. The number 91 car comes back out onto the track. Oh, sorry, that's the 81 car. Matt Harris, the rookie from Fredericton Junction, must have went in to get a little fine tuning, see what was going on, and he's back out there.
Well, when all's said and done, Art Steves will line them up and put them where they belong.
I think they're getting very close, ladies and gentlemen, to start racing again here. Pace car's light is still on going into turn number 2. We'll find out here shortly if he's going to turn it off. He turns that off. We're getting back to racing. No, he has not turned it off yet. We're soon going to get set for racing here at the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, under what is a clear sky and a full moon here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's just an excellent night here for racing. And everything looks really nice here. The cars look excellent underneath the lights, nice little shine to them. They look good with all their, their paint job, their lettering, their decals, and everything else just looks really super. Almost gonna make you feel like you're at a NASCAR race, Dave.
Yeah, almost. I mean, you were saying about the gleam on the cars. I know they do have a stipulation that in MASCAR, you have to keep your car clean.
Well, you can't have any
every
debris.
race.
You can't have any debris hanging off it. Your numbers got to be quite visible, both top, front, and they have their numbers on the windshields of the cars and things like that. So they have to be quite visible. They must look nice. They're representing a lot of sponsors. They want to look good, and I mean, why not? So.
And I know these drivers and the pit crews both take very much pride in those vehicles. I mean, there's some of them that when they get into bad wrecks, it hurts.
Well, these cars are built from the ground up. They're not like street stock where you take an old clunker in the backyard and put some roll bars and metal into it and stuff like that. And, and then everything's fine. But these cars are built from the ground up. They have the similar chassis or similar body to some of the street cars that you do see, the Camaros, the Trans Ams, like Scott Fraser driving in the Dodge Avenger body. And, they look very similar, but these cars, trust me, folks, are built from the ground up. They have no choice, and they have a lot of specs that they have to go by in order to get racing. So it's a lot of work, and if you have a good mechanic on your pit crew, you can have a real good car. Pace car's into the center. The light is off. We're going to get ready for racing. Art is shaking his arm. He's getting anxious here to watch this racing get underway again. We're on lap 32, another 68 to go. We're coming down to turn number 4. We're going to start the cross the start-finish line, and we're back for racing, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Sewart and Scott Fraser neck and neck in the back in the turn number 1. Coming out of turn number 2, they are neck and neck going into turn number 3.
Too wide going in there. 44 is still bringing up third place, Wayne Smith.
A little bit of a bump there by Scott Fraser on number 99, Greg Sewart. He forced to go high on him. Number 44.
Looks like Wayne Smith is going to bring up second place right now.
He's taking a run for second place. Oh, Scott Fraser looked like he just hit a turbo there and just took a big jump. But as we come down the start-finish line, number 44, Wayne Smith, takes second place away from Scott Fraser, which is something Scott Fraser has owned most of the night.
Scott Fraser's
in trouble.
He's out of the line. He's fallen way behind now.
He has lost the line, obviously, ladies and gentlemen. He is now in 4th place.
John Fleming is brought up 3rd, and Scott will pull in right behind John.
There's definitely something wrong with that car. I don't know if he took a bump earlier on or what, but he's having a real rough time here.
Dave Gorveatt, car number 77, is bringing up 5th place.
And as we go down into turn number 3, the number 99 car, Greg Sewart, is still leading here, folks. He's led possibly 34 of these last 37 laps. Scott Fraser, I think, has only led probably 2 of those laps.
Greg Stewart's starting to pull out. Going into the backstretch, he's getting at least 2 car lengths ahead of car number 44, Wayne Smith.
Scott Fraser is now in 4th place, sitting behind number 97, John Fleming, and in front of him is number 44, Wayne Smith, and leading this race is number 99, Greg Sewart, who is having a phenomenal race out here tonight. just looking superb out there. Everything looks nice and comfortable. He's real tight in the turns. He's not loose. He's coming out of the turns good. His pit crew should be commended very well for the job they've done on that car so far tonight. I don't want to jinx him after 34 laps. He's looking pretty good out there.
There's our battle for second and third right there. Car number 97, John Fleming, is pulled into second. 31.
It's actually a battle for third and fourth right there now.
Third and fourth.
He does take number 44, Wayne Smith, high and passes him now. Scott Fraser is in third place. So 2 car lengths behind number 97, John Fleming. Greg Sewart now is coming up to the slower cars and soon going to start lapping them again. These slower cars, all they can hope for is a crash so that they can get the field bunched up again and not be down too many laps.
That's right. But once they start lapping on a short track like this, it gets pretty hard to get your lap back again.
Art Steves gives the blue and yellow flag to let the cars know that there's some faster cars coming behind them and to let them by. Take a look in your rearview mirror and see what the heck's going on.
Number 17 just made his way back on the track. That's Dave Potter.
The number 99 car is trying to get by the number 15 car.
And he
Scott
just whips to the outside and takes it over, gets right by him.
Scott Fraser's going to have a hard time now trying to pick up some ground here. Oh, he takes number 97 on the inside, but gets stuck behind the slower car, number 15, Scott Alexander, the rookie from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Scott Fraser, I know, has got to be cursing in that car right now because he cannot get by those guys to pick up some ground on the number 99 car. The number 17 car takes off into the pit. That is number 17, Dave Potter from Cambridge, Nova Scotia. It could be a night for him because he went into the pit earlier too.
And Greg Sewart just went by Byron Bartlet from St. John, New Brunswick, putting him a lap down now.
Now, folks, it's getting really difficult to see who's on the lead lap here because we've got a real mix-up of cars here. We'll try and keep you up to date here as we do have a scoreboard in the center area, which does tell us who is in what position. It's actually the top 3 positions. So we have number 99, Greg Sewart, leading, number 97, John Fleming in second place, and number 31, Scott Fraser in the Roland McDonald car.
And that might change. As of right now, that changed.
That has just changed. Scott Fraser is now in second place. He's gone by number 97, John Fleming.
And actually, it looks like he's starting to gain a little bit of ground on Greg Sewart.
I don't know if his car's tightened up on him or what, but he's really doing some racing now. He was a little loose, but also in turn number 4 is where that spill was of oil or coolant. We're not sure what it was, and that may have caused him to be a little loose into that turn, but he's gaining some ground here now. But number 97, John Fleming, has not given up without a fight. He's not going to give up that position too easily.
No, he's right on his back bumper, and he's going to stay there as long as he can.
We have reached the midway point, folks, of 50 laps. Now we are on 51, and Greg Sewart is leading right now and has led approximately 49 of those 51 laps.
Oh, we got a spin out. Now car number 35.
Number 35 with a big spin out. Almost had a crash with the number 52 car. We have a full course yellow going on here now, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Brad Munn from Campbellton, New Brunswick. All the rest of the drivers took their time going around, going to the infield. That's why you see a lot of dust and smoke.
It's hard to see right now with all that smoke from the tire spin out and the dust from the sand and gravel that's in the center. And that is Brad Mann, just to correct.
Mann.
I don't want to insult my man here, but it is Brad Mann from Campbellton. Oh, number 35 car has blown a tire. Unfortunately, that's what.
It almost looks like that someone got him from behind and cut his tire down on him.
That may have happened, Dave. As here comes the replay, ladies and gentlemen, of that spin out. He might have blew a tire. He blew a tire.
He blew a tire.
Turn.
No one touched him.
No, he blew a tire on that turn and caused that little bit of an accident.
And look at the way all the rest of the drivers just take their.
Yeah.
They can't see, so they're just going to the inside or the outside, whichever is an open lane, or so they think is an open lane.
Well, a lot of these guys do have spotters here and there, and they can tell them, as you may notice on some cars, ladies and gentlemen, they do have a little antenna just on the top of the back window, and or some of them even on the top of the car, and those guys tell them which way to go, high or low and whatnot. And as you may have seen the movie Days of Thunder one time, a long time ago with Tom Cruise in it, they have spotters there, and they kept telling those guys, go high, go low, go high, go low in those accidents, because they couldn't see a thing. Especially if you got a lot of dust like we had there, rubber burning, or, basically it does burn on the track when it's, he's spinning around like that.
That's right.
So, these spotters are telling these guys, go high, go low, and that's probably what was happening there. They went into the center area, which is much safer instead of crashing up their own car.
Yep. And this is going to be good for the people who got lapped, too. Those cars that got lapped, they're going to get their lap back now, and maybe get a chance to move up a few positions.
Well, depending on how far down they were lapped, because I know Byron Bartlet has been lapped twice now, so he's still probably down a lap and he's just back out onto the racetrack right now. He's probably gone in and say, boys, can you put some turbo into this thing somewhere and give me some more horsepower, because I am really lacking behind here. But he knew that. I was talking to him before the race even started, and he was saying, boys, he said, I'm not gonna, I don't even know if I want to even race here tonight, but he said the crew wants me to go out. They want me to show at least. You know, the crew, like you said, Dave, do take a lot of pride in what they do.
That's right, they do.
And when you have a fast car like Scott Fraser's crew, I mean, these guys take a lot of pride. And when the season's over and some guy says, well, I don't know if I want to be a part of this anymore, and then there's another team that go out and say, hey, come with me, because you're a great mechanic. So it's great publicity for these guys. You know, they're saying, hey, the pit crew's pretty good. You know, he must be a good mechanic. He can fine-tune things pretty good.
And I just seen a shot there of car number 88, and that is Kevin Moore. And it looks like he may have got dinged on the side, on the passenger side. Has been in just a little bit. Now, hopefully that sheet metal won't rub against that tire and cut it down. Because if it is, well, I guess it's on the driver's side, but if that cuts that down, that's going to cause an awful lot of problems for him.
That's for sure, Dave. And so after 52 laps, ladies and gentlemen, we have number 99, Greg Sewart, in first place. Number 31, Scott Fraser, in second place. And bringing up the top three is number 97, John Fleming, from Halifax, Nova Scotia, where we will be on June.
I know it's not next week.
June the 5th, I guess it is. It's on a Saturday, down just outside of Halifax. And we'll be bringing you the race coverage there. So that will basically be probably John Fleming's home track, where he probably does a lot of his practicing and fine-tuning and whatnot down there, which from what I've been told is a very nice track. And I'm not really familiar with any of the Nova Scotia tracks, but I have been around this province a little bit. Riverglade, Petty Raceway, Miramichi Speedway, which is my hometown speedway, which is a rather nice track. Has some long straightaways there, and not so fast to corners there like there is here. So it should be really nice. Oyster Bed Raceway will be there the long weekend in August, I guess it is, July 31st, August 1st.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, big folks, I've just been corrected. It's not Stewart. I thought it was a typo on our sheet here. It's Sewart. So my apologies to the Sewart Racing team and anybody else listening following Sewart's racing. It's Sewart and not Stewart. So that is really an error on my part. I do apologize.
Well, not just on your part. We all thought it was a typo. We had to scramble here at the last minute because I made a couple of driver changes at the last minute, so we had to scramble and kind of write stuff down really quick, and that might have just been a slip of the pen.
Well, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was Stewart, but now I have to get used to it for Stewart, and we're getting ready for racing again. Barrett Steves with the green flag, and here it comes. Greg Sewart and Scott Fraser go down side by side into turn number 1, and it's going to be Greg Sewart coming out of turn number 2 in the lead with car number 97.
Oh, Scott
John
Fraser
Fleming.
gets loose.
Scott Fraser goes into turn number 3. Oh, that could be a big setback for Scott Fraser. He is up into the grass in turn number 3.
And also car number 79, Chris Duncan.
Car number 87 and car number 20. Gosh, car number 31. No.
Car number 24, I believe. 21.
We had a bad crash down there in that turn, and a lot of folks are up against the fence there, and they're getting a good view of a NASCAR right up close. Unfortunately, I hope nobody is hurt in that. The ambulance has gone over to check things out and see if everybody's okay. The 87 driver, we see him moving around in there, but we don't see too much movement from the car, the number 21 car, which is driven by
Dave Pierce. Car number 7, the rookie Byron Bartlet just left.
Also, we have the red flag out now, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
and here's a replay.
We have the red flag out. Oh, he got touched probably by the 97 car, John Fleming from Halifax, Nova Scotia. That may be under review a little bit now with the MASCAR officials here, and he may be either black-flagged or warned to no more bumping. We're under a full course red here. All drivers must stop on a full course red and are not allowed to proceed until tow trucks get debris, cars, and whatever else off the track.
Matt Harris just climbed out of his car. He's surveying the damage, and he doesn't look too happy.
I don't imagine he is, Dave, because you know, these guys really love, this is more than a hobby for some of these NASCAR drivers. It's this possibility of working up to a chance to get a NASCAR bid or a CASCAR bid to get driving someplace else, and they're really fighting for you know, sponsorship and things like that. So
the wrecker's down, trying to hook on to car number 21 and get him off that hill. It just looks like they're having an awful hard time doing it.
Well, he's jammed in between the bottom of the track and the top of the hill. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a grass bank here. And we're going to go to a bit of an interview here while we get this track cleared up. So we'll be right back with racing MASCAR 100 from the New Brunswick International Speedway in Geary, New Brunswick.
Wayne Smith, the Oval Outlaw, past champion, been on the CarQuest Auto Parts MASCAR Tour for a good long time. You know, Wayne, I've been involved with the tour for a number of years too. I took a year off there about 4 years ago, but other than that, I've been with you guys for a long time. It's been fun watching you develop.
Well, we try to make it fun, Ken, yep.
You ever sit back and look at some of those old pictures of some of those early efforts when you really thought you might have had the hot setup way back when and realize how much this sport has developed since then?
Sure grew a long ways. I don't really keep a lot of pictures, but it sure come ahead a long ways.
Well, it has. You know, you've come ahead along with it too, Wayne. It's always fun to watch you. You're obviously you certainly developed a lot more finesse and consistency than you did in the early days. But I mean, heavens, we all had early days, no matter what we're doing, whether it's on the air or racing cars or whatever. And you've had a good, solid team effort. You've probably had most of the same people pretty well all the way along, haven't you?
Yeah, pretty well the same people. We're always looking for sponsors who would help the tour, help it out better. But we're surviving. We'll keep going.
Well, we are too, and we've got great help from the CarQuest folks and Cantel, AT&T, of course, on our heats, and Intellisat with our rookies, and Polaris have just joined us as well. But you've got some folks too you'd like to acknowledge. I'm sure they're helping you.
Oh yeah, like Micro Atlantic, he's the big sponsor, and we got Bazaar, and we got Wix Filters, Colonial Collision, which gives us, they paint the car for us, and that helps. Every bit helps.
Anybody that paints a race car, it's always helped. You seem to need paint on a fairly regular basis in this sport.
I do usually, yeah.
Listen, good luck at 99 on the CarQuest Auto Parts MASCAR Tour. We're going to be watching, and we have just as much fun watching you as you do racing, I'm sure.
Thank you again.
Wayne Smith, the Oval Outlaw.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick. We have the track cleared up after a couple of accidents, which I don't know which one started first. I think Scott Fraser got bumped a little bit by car number 97, John Fleming, and went into turn number 3 up into the bank, and he is now in the pit area getting things looked after. He's going to have to, unfortunately, in his part, start at the back
of the pack.
And we're going to have to see some fancy driving from him to get up through that pack, because we now have 2, 4, 6, 8, probably about 15 cars still in the race.
He may be a couple laps too, but he had some awful bad damage to the front of that car.
He got her bent underneath when he went up into that bank, and unfortunately for car number 21, Dave Pierce, his night is over because he just sustained too much damage to that car for him to continue on here tonight.
So now Glenn Rasmussen from New Denmark, New Brunswick, is pulling in 3rd spot. Although up on the scoreboard they have car number 77, Dave Gorveatt.
So Greg Sewart is still in 1st place. I bet you he's thinking, my goodness, I'm glad I wasn't involved in that little bit of a Scott Fraser one, because I could have had my rear end bumped on that one.
And the thing is, that happened right behind him too.
Right behind him, and these guys have quite large rear view mirrors, so he might have just seen a piece of it in his rear view mirror watching him going around turn number 3. Car number 97 sits in 2nd place now, John Fleming, and in 3rd place is car number 77.
Okay, they did move him up.
Dave
Gorveatt.
And behind him is car number 8, Glenn Rasmussen. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies if I'm not. And sitting in 5th place is car number 15, the rookie, Scott Alexander from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And in 6th place is number 48, Dave Oblinus. In 7th place is number 88, Kevin Moore. In 9th place is car number 50, Mike Riley from Timberley, Nova Scotia. And in 10th place is number 81,
Bobby White.
Sorry, 87, I guess. No, it's 81.
81, Bobby White.
Bobby White.
Kenentuk.
And rounding out the field is number 71, Rick McCracken from Fredericton, New Brunswick, the rookie. These rookies must like these little bit of accidents where these other top drivers are out of the race here tonight, because they get a chance to pick up a few points here and do some racing. But we see Scott Fraser coming back out onto the track, minus his hood, because I think he might have done some damage in the front end for the cooling part of the grill on the front of his car, so they took the hood off so they keep the engine cool. So he's back out onto the track, trying to get back out onto the track, I should say. Here he comes.
As well as car number 17, Dave Potter, and
that's definitely what happened here, Dave. He's got some damage to the front end of his car.
Very bad damage too.
To the bottom front of that car. It's all body damage by the looks of things, so his car wouldn't be able to keep cool. So they took the hood off of that to keep that engine cooled down, because it is a little warm up here tonight in Geary. Even though you might see a lot of people with sweaters and little light jackets on here tonight, but when they're just sitting around, it's kind of cool.
That's right. And as I was mentioning earlier, coming into the corner, you can see the brake rotors turning cherry red. They actually have tubes or piping that goes from the front of the car to each brake rotor.
To try to keep them cooled down.
To try to keep them cooled down. And by the looks of it, Scott may have some damage in that general area.
And Byron
Bartlet has no side.
He's missing the front quarter panel and his passenger side on his car, so we get a good view of the what.
You get to see what the roll cage looks like.
Exactly, thank you. Couldn't get those words out. But the pace car still has the light on coming out of turn number 2. Are we going to get down to racing here shortly?
Dave Potter's got some awful bad damage in the back of his machine as well.
Pace car's going to take one more lap around. They want to get them bunched up a little closer together, I think, is what's going on there.
You know, they may pull Dave Potter right off the track, because he's got some sheet metal sticking right up in the air, and it looks pretty loose. It could very well fall off. And by the looks of it, there's 4 cars out there right now with no hoods on, which in a way is an advantage. It takes down your aerodynamics, but it does keep your engine cooler.
Well, you know, Dave, it's not too bad. We have 17 cars out on the track right now, and we started out with 19. And by times, I know there was never 19 cars on the track, so we're doing pretty good out there right now to keep that many cars after those wrecks that we've had. And we're getting very close now. We see Art Steve's giving the signal that one more lap around, and we're going to get down to some racing here.
And you know, when you look at car number 7, you can see the intricacy of the roll cage that's built into these cars. They just try to keep the driver as safe as they possibly can.
And the pace car is into the center of the track, and we're getting ready for more racing. Art Steves has the green flag. Here we go as they cross the start-finish line. Number 99, Greg Sewart, going into turn number 1 in the lead, but car number 97, John Fleming, has given him a run for his money down the back straightaway. Coming into turn number 3, they're side by side. And coming out of turn number 4, coming to the start-finish line, it's going to be Greg Sewart leading now probably 50 laps out of the 52 we have raced here tonight. Now Greg Sewart is starting to open up a bit of a lead, and so is John Fleming right behind him. As we come into turn number 3, the cars all bunch up. So far, not a wreck yet, but we've got 2 laps down and not a crash yet so far.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Fingers, toes, and anything else you can cross. Coming into turn number 3, it's Greg Sewart leading ahead of John Fleming, who's in 2nd place, and behind him is number 77, Dave Gorveatt from Charlottetown, PEI.
We've got a battle for 5th and 6th as well between car number 48 and car number 15 there. 48 just pulled ahead now.
We have an interesting battle between the 2 wrecks. I think you'd call them between 7 and 17. It's a battle of last place. And both of them have some structure damage on their car, which is cutting down on the aerodynamic and the smoothness that they might have. They're fighting some pretty mean battles just in the steering wheel. Number 97, John Fleming, has caught right up to Greg Sewart and is trying to make a bid to go by him. Greg Sewart comes into turn number 3 and coming into turn number 4 and crossing the start-finish line. He is now led 55 of 57 laps. He is doing just a great job trying to keep number 97, John Fleming, off his tail and get some distance between them. We must say, though, number 97 is doing some real fancy driving. And not to mention, Scott Fraser is really coming up into the pack right now. He would be somewhere in the vicinity of about 11th place right now.
And he's
at 17, and he's passing everything in his sight, Dave.
He's not having any problem passing these cars. He's taking the inside, the outside. He's coming up on the bumper, on their back bumper, and saying, "Get out of my way, I want by."
That he is doing. He is really passed 7 cars in the last 8 laps, I believe it is. So he's really coming up in the back. You're seeing some real fancy driving by him, and now he has a bit of advantage with the hood off. He's getting a really cool engine. So so he shouldn't have too many problems there. But getting back to the lead cars, number 99, Greg Sewart, is starting to open up a bit of a lead as he crosses the start-finish line for the 61st lap here at the New Brunswick International Speedway in Geary, New Brunswick. I'm Barry Johnson along with Dave Hanlon, and we are glad to bring you the play here. It's just been a real good night of great racing here tonight, Dave. We saw a lot of great racing, as I said earlier, with the sportsmen and the street stock.
And
just kind of a warm-up for us to get used to this MASCAR stuff here.
I think so, and you were mentioning earlier about Scott Fraser moving up. He's now in 8th place.
Well, boys, he is really doing some racing out there, and anybody, if you're trying to keep an eye on Scott Fraser, every once in a while you'll see him on your screen. He is just really doing some hard racing out there. He's really pushing that car for everything it has.
That little 31 is going to, I wouldn't doubt that, go in a special place if he can pull off first or second.
Byron Bartlet has been lapped once again by number 99, Greg Sewart, and number 97, John Fleming, which is really no surprise because he's just really not running the car that he wants to be running here tonight, as we said earlier.
No, he's having some awful bad problems with that thing.
Scott Fraser is really doing some hard racing out there. He's just passing everything in his sight. There's not a car yet here tonight that he has not passed at some point or another. Even Greg Sewart, he passed for, I think he held the lead for 2 laps there earlier tonight, but has never seen the lead lap since probably about lap number 8 or so here tonight. And boy, the fans are getting a great kick out of watching Art Steves out here. He gets dancing around. I think he gets right into this racing. He just loves this stuff.
And Brad Mann's looking at his rearview mirror, seeing Scott, and he's going, oh boy, what am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to fight him off there. There's some tight racing going on there as Scott Fraser gets right up on his bumper coming out of turn number 4, but Brad holds him off for another lap.
You know, even with his aerodynamics down the way it is, if he can stay on the bumper of those cars, he can still pull up positions pretty easy.
Well, that he is doing quite well, Dave, and you got to give him a lot of credit. The 29-year-old from Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia.
Number 15 got a little loose in the corner.
Get a little bit of bumping going on here, folks. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're on lap number, I believe it's 63 or 69 from our scoreboard here.
21 just made its way back out onto the track. That is Dave Pierce.
Well, I don't know how he made it back out because that car looked to be a total wreck, but give him credit as he made it back out. We are now on lap number 70, and Greg Sewart is doing a great job leading here. Now lap 71.
And car 21 doesn't seem any worse for wear as far as speed goes anyway. He's keeping right up with the guys. He may be 10 or 12 laps down, but he is keeping up even with no front bumper.
So on the lead lap, the top 3 leaders are number 9, Greg Sewart, and number 97 is in second place, John Fleming, and picking up third place is number 77, Dave Gorveatt from Charlottetown, PEI.
He'll be glad with at least a top 5. That way his trip over here from the island is going to be well worth it.
Well, I would say so, Dave, and I know he can't wait to race in front of the hometown fans in Oyster Bend Raceway. He'll like that for sure.
That's right. And I believe Scott has just moved up another position.
Probably has, Dave, no question there at all. He is really doing some phenomenal racing. And I do believe number 7, Byron Bartlet, has gone into the pit area. I think he may have called her a night because his car is just not performing, and he's having a real rough time out there.
Scott is now in 6th place then, that car number 31.
Well, I hope you're keeping good track of this because I can't keep track of who's on the lead lap and who's been lapped here now.
I'm trying.
It's a real tough job, folks, on this short track because now the cars are really spaced out. Everybody seems to be getting lapped right here now by the lead cars, number 99, Greg Sewart, and number 97, John Fleming.
And 97 is staying right on his bumper. He's making a dash for first place every corner he can get, but
these cars are going to start to get a little bit loose on the turns, folks, because the rubber is going to start wearing on the tires, and they're really going to be fighting to keep a hold of these cars. And it's got to be really playing on the brakes here now going into the turns. They're going to be really getting hot, and metal on metal, folks, doesn't really work that well. The brakes after a while might seize up. The caliper on top of the rotor might seize. Therefore, you're going to lose your brakes, so you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble if that happens.
We're on lap number 79 right now. Scott Fraser still in 6th place behind car number 44, Wayne Smith from Timberland, Nova Scotia.
Still leading here now is number 99, Greg Sewart. Followed closely behind is number 97, John Fleming.
Art Steves is telling the slower cars, get out of the way, we got some faster ones coming through.
And there's a big distance between second and third place. pretty near half a track length now, where number 77, Dave Gorveatt, is behind John Fleming.
Rick McCracken just pulled off to the side to let our leaders, Greg Sewart and John Fleming, pass.
Well, that's more of a courtesy. I mean, why hold these guys up? They're the lead drivers. You know, they're fighting for top spot. If you're near the back of the pack, you know, 15th, 16th place, why hold them up? Let them go by.
That's right. You got a battle. He's got a battle of his own by the looks of it anyway, between him and car number 88, which would be Kevin Moore.
Art Steves is really throwing the yellow and blue flag out there at some of the slower cars and letting them know, hey, pull over a little bit, take a look in your rearview mirror and let these guys go by. These fans are really enjoying a lot of good racing here tonight.
And it has been very good racing tonight. All these drivers are putting 110% into it. And you know, I'm just looking out in the track. He is still in 6th place, Scott Fraser. We're talking a lot about Scott tonight, but he was our points leader last year. And as it stands right now, he's our points leader as it stands.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear a lot of car noise here. Believe it or not, we're inside of a booth here, and the noise is cut down quite a bit. But if I just lean over towards the window here, you're going to hear it a lot louder. So that just goes to show how loud these cars are. They do run mufflers to a certain degree, but they've made a little bit of a change this year where they got to point them straight down.
And 97 is John Fleming has just pulled into 1st place.
Oh, we have a crash into spin out to turn number 50. And turn number 1, car number 50 has spun out. 21 has spun out trying to avoid the crash.
That's Mike Riley from Timberland, Nova Scotia.
I don't know if he bumped another car or not. I didn't get a chance to see that because of my point of view. I have a big corner wall stuck in my way, so I couldn't see that. Oh, he has some structure damage there. He must have bumped into somebody.
Well, when they were passing the start-finish line, car number 97, John Fleming, was making a dash and actually was leading going into turn 1 over Greg Sewart.
He's going to have to go into the pit and get that either torn off or taped down or something. Here we have a replay of it. Oh, that was the tail end of the replay there. I don't know who he hit, but 21 did a real good job trying to avoid him because he says, boys, I got no more body left here to take off. If I run into somebody, I'm done. That's it.
That almost looks like a boat the way it's all banged up now.
Well, they haven't told him to go to the pitch yet, but there's nothing really dangling on it, so they may keep him in there.
They may allow him to stay out as long as there's no sheet metal dangling off it and hitting the ground or anywhere where it could catch on another car.
Track officials took a real good look at him in turn number 4 and seemed to have let him go by. They're not going to make him come off. As the pace car goes back out there to slow things right down, we're under a full course yellow here.
And now it gives us a chance to find out who's where.
Exactly, Dave, because it's really, really tight to see who's who out here right now, and we don't really know just yet. They're going to get them lined up here because the people up here in the booth have to figure out who goes where, and then they radio down to the track officials. And there's a little guy out there near the start-finish line, and he will get everybody into position and to where they're supposed to be.
Well, 2 people we know where they are is 99 Greg Sewart and 97 John Fleming. They were in 1st and 2nd respectively. And by the looks of it, 88 Kevin Moore is going to bring up 3rd.
I believe he's been lapped, Dave. It
could very well be.
I think it'll be number 77. And he's been number 50. Mike Riley has been given the thumbs up by a track official saying, yes, you can stay in there. You no need to go to the pit.
Well, that's good news for him.
That's real good news for him. Because once you get into that pit, your tires get cooled down again going onto that dirt. So they're going to start getting cars lined up here, I think, right now.
And yes, I believe you're right. 88 has been lapped. They're just going to leave him exactly where he is.
Usually they put the lap cars on the inside sometimes. I've seen these races, and they put the lead cars on the outside.
It gives the lap cars a chance to get their lap back.
That's correct, Dave, and it also gives the faster cars, they can take that quicker line, possibly that's on a little bit of the outside, and get ahead there. So we'll see what happens here as they line them up.
Now they're lining them up 2 by 2, 1st and 2nd.
See, as you see, Dave, the car, number 99 is in 1st place. Beside him is the 2nd place car, and then back in behind the 97 car is the 77 car. So obviously, I believe that is what's going on right now. They're putting the slower cars, obviously, on the inside past the lead car.
And Art Steve seems to be discussing. No, he's happy the way it is. Lights just went out on the pace car, and they're going to get the racing next time around.
They're obviously not going to line them up. They're going to leave who was lapped, and that's just the way things are going to stay. These cars, folks, are getting really banged up here, especially after 87 laps. We're only 13 shy from the finish, folks, and don't go far because it's going to be a battle for the finish because number 97 has been giving the number 99 car a big run for his money as the pace car comes into the center track. we're going to get back to racing here on lap number 87.
It's going to be a dead heat right to the very end with these two cars. I have a funny feeling.
Here they come, folks, going into turn four. They're picking up their speed as they come to the start-finish line, and we're back to racing.
Bumper to bumper.
Number 97 going into turn number 1 is taking a slight lead. Coming into turn number 2, he has taken a lead down the back straightaway. He is giving Greg Sewart a run for his money here going into turn number 3.
Greg saying, no way, I'm not letting you by.
Coming out of turn number 4, it's Greg. Number 97, John Fleming, took the lead there from Greg Sewart. That's the first time in over 86 laps that Greg Sewart has lost the lap. The lead, sorry.
They're shoving number 8 off to the side. He spun out in the back stretch. And that's Glenn Ramsman.
John Fleming has now led 2 laps here, folks, at the New Brunswick International Speedway. He is opening up a lead on Greg Sewart.
Greg can't be too happy about that, leading all those laps that he was, and then on a restart, having John just take that lead right away from him.
The number 99 car is now in second place, and we've only seen that possibly the second and third lap, or fourth and fifth lap probably, in this race when Scott Fraser took the lead away from him.
Wayne Smith seems to be doing a good job in third place of keeping up with our 2 leaders as well. He's a couple car lengths behind, but he's not doing too bad.
The number 88 car of Kevin Moore goes into the pit area. He's obviously having some problems out there. We still have John Fleming leading here, the number 97 car, and Greg Sewart sitting in second place and is not too far behind, but 2 car lengths behind John Fleming. And with only 7 laps to go here, folks, we're going to see a great race to the finish here, but these lead cars are coming up on the slower cars in the pack, and it's going to cause a lot of problems.
And guess what position Scott Fraser's in now? 4th.
Wow.
He's moved up to 4th place from the very back of the pack.
He's really pushing hard, probably get a top 3 finish in here.
Oh, number 50 is getting really slow. He's pulling off the track. That is Mike Riley of Timberland, Nova Scotia. He spins off to the side in turn number 3 and 4.
So, folks, 95 laps. We have 5 laps to go, and the number 97 car is still leading. That's John Fleming from Halifax, Nova Scotia leading. His counterpart, Greg Sewart from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So a couple of blue nosers here, fighting it right down to the wire. 96 laps gone, 4 to go. As they come down the back straightaway, they're side by side. Oh, Greg Sewart gets caught in behind some slow traffic and can't get by number 97, John Fleming. He could have took him on the back straightaway. Oh, a little bit of bump there by 17. Oh, he's going to get, nope, we got 2 laps. Going to be 2 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line here.
John Fleming, Greg Stewart. 3rd place is Wayne Smith.
Number 17 car gave a bit of a bump on the Greg Sewart car, which I know Greg Sewart will have words for him as they go back to the pit, and that was number 17, Dave Potter. As we come down.
Last lap
coming up, ladies and gentlemen, and it's number 97, John Fleming, and Greg Sewart is not going to catch him unless John Fleming takes a wipeout. We're coming up here.
Which he's not. He's going to baby that lap around that turn.
And we got the checkered flag from our sneeze. It's number 97, John Fleming. And in second place is number 99, Greg Sewart. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great race to watch here. And number 44 rounds out the top 3. Number 44, Wayne Smith from Timberley, Nova Scotia. So, folks, we have an all blue nose, I guess, if I can say that politely, finish here tonight at the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary.
Actually, the top 4, Scott Fraser came in 4th place.
Well, that's just amazing, folks. That great driving by these Nova Scotia people, and these fans are not going away unhappy here tonight. They're really saw some excellent racing here tonight. And we're going to take a break here, folks, after this tremendous race that we saw here tonight, and it's just been phenomenal. Here's the top 3. We're coming up to the top 3 finishers here, but we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with some interviews.
Couldn't be here to see this. Nice hole for a box shot. The flying stevedore and the perfect handle for him tonight. Man, I want you to know, I don't remember a race that was more entertaining to watch than this one. And everybody knows I'm as old as dirt. I don't remember a better night than this. What a night. It's just great. I don't know. Good car. Still can't come up with real good results and come back with the same setup. The boys worked all winter and tired on. Can't say enough for it. The car was great. Well, the car was great. The night was great. The weather was good. It was all the combinations were just about 180 degrees from where they were in the last race you attended. Yeah, but if it's real, the results was a little worse, but well, that's why I say you're 180 degrees away. This is much more enjoyable for you this week. Oh, this is awesome. This is the best day. I hope there's more to come. Well, there's more MASCAR to come, and we hope to see you on it. Oh, we'll be there. But, man, nice ad for Shawn Fleming. The Zenith Coleman MASCAR. I remember interviewing this guy a number of years ago after a race. You can have another swig if you want. They're good. I said, man, in the heat in these cars, must be a great way to stay trim. And I said, how much weight do you lose in your average race? And I remember you telling me it was about 9 pounds. This looked like about an 11-pounder out there tonight. I think it was more than about 15 really tonight. But we were fast out of the trailer today, and we come on a new setup there. We never ran this good here before. And, we just tried something different at the car, and the car responded well. And, we can't be more happy. I would love to have won. John ran a good race, and he had a good car on the outside. And just got over here in the dirt, turn 2 coming off, and that's just enough for him to get ahead of me here. You know, it's when you look at cars that can run that close and can get the job done without tearing one another all to pieces and entertain on a level like you guys entertained tonight, I guess that's what 17 years of MASCAR brought us. No question about it. It's the best series in the Maritimes, and hopefully we can keep it going for another 17. Quality runs like this are what do it, buddy. Congratulations. Thanks very much, Ken. Greg Sewart, what a job! Oh, mercy. Talking to Smitty earlier today, and he said to me, he said, these guys are on a roll. His wife, Ellen, last week won the 50-50, $495 he come up with, at Andy Ganesh. I said, it's a tough crowd out there today. He says, yeah. And I said, it's always an uphill grind when you got to run these cars. He says, yeah. But he said, I figure if my mother-in-law could put up with my father-in-law for 39 bloody years, he said, I should be able to run on the front. That's right, kid. Listen, what a night. Well, I think it would have been better if I wouldn't have had a front flat tire, but that doesn't help it. Not that late in the race, halfway. It's rough when you got to come from the back to the front again. Definitely had something for him tonight, though, buddy. I don't know if it was as good as Johnny, but... You're there, though. The bunch of you are right there. We'll do that next week. I imagine. Next week in Halifax, a little closer to home. Congratulations. The microcomputer Atlantic 44 looked great. Thank you, Ben. The most consistent, professional, and exciting show in Canadian motorsports, ladies and gentlemen. The Dark Quest Auto Parts MASCAR Tour. Give them a round. Hey, thank you so much for coming out tonight. The only person that had more fun here than you is me. We'll see you next Saturday night down in Halifax. Love you. Good night.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the New Brunswick International Speedway here in Geary, New Brunswick, where we saw a fantastic race here tonight with 100 laps of the MASCAR Tour. And Dave, we had a few crashes here, and a lot of fans like seeing crashes. You don't want to see anybody get hurt in them, but we like seeing some of the crashes. It adds a little suspense and drama to the race here tonight. But we have to congratulate John Fleming in the 97 car, who had a phenomenal race here tonight. Sat second and rode shotgun pretty near all the night here tonight, but saw his chance, pulled into first place, and there he sits.
And you know, place tonight. In most ways, that's the way to do it. You ride shotgun for 90 laps, 92 laps, something like that, and then make your move.
Well, number 99 car had a chance to take the lead, but got caught up in slower traffic, about 2 laps left to go, and couldn't get by him. And John Fleming said, thank you very much. I'll take that and go right to the bank with that one, and that he is going to be doing. And there we see him going around the track now. And finished second place was number 99, Greg Sewart, and third place was number 44, Wayne Smith. And
an amazing fourth place winner.
The winner from last week's race in Andy Ganesh was number 31, Scott Fraser. Like you said, Dave, had an amazing finish, really, to come up that high, because he had a little bit of an accident to turn number 3, went up into the bank, had to go into pit row, get some adjustments done, get the hood taken off, get the engine cooled down, come back out onto the track, had to start at the back of the pack on I think it was about 17th place at that time.
Somewhere thereabouts.
And he made a 4th place finish, which is just phenomenal. And rounding out the top 5, I'll just quickly do this, Dave. And it's Bobby White from Kennetcook, Nova Scotia. So the top 5 here tonight are all from Nova Scotia. Top 5.
Blue Nosers are going to be proud down there.
That's a damn good crew, I'll tell you that, down there in the Blue Nosers, that's for sure. So.
And another thing about Scott Fraser that we should mention too is his pit crew must have did a fantastic job. They got him in there, got it fixed, and got him out in under a lap.
That is for sure. Anyway, folks, that's going to be a wrap from Brunswick International Speedway here tonight. Our next broadcast will be coming from near Halifax at the raceway down there for another MASCAR tour. I'm Barry Johnson with Dave Hanlon. Good night.